Whoa, what's up, everybody?
Hello.
It is
What's happening?
great to be back with y'all.
All right. So we are back, me and Houston, again for the second time together.
Another podcast, sans Logan's chaperoning.
You guys, no one wrote in enough to prevent us from being back together. So here we are. So here you go. You get it again. You guys, that's what happens when you guys don't act. Okay. Houston and I, we come back at you on a Tuesday.
A Tuesday, keep the comments going.
Or Monday. It's Monday today.
What day is it? Yeah. Oh, no, wait. Monday Night Football's on tonight.
Oh, and yeah. That's the thing, man, is working in the restaurant business. Yeah. It's actually a skill to know what day of the week it is. So, and skill I've yet to develop. So I don't know. Last week, I was convinced it was Wednesday all week. Like from Monday through Sunday, I thought it was Wednesday. In fact, so bad, I even posted up our location as Wednesday instead of Thursday. I said Wednesday, and I got the date right, but I put Wednesday because, it's in my brain. So,
Dude, a lot of last week felt like a Wednesday.
Yeah. It was a very Wednesday-y week last week. I'm sure everyone can agree.
It really was. Really was. And boy, oh boy, it's a wild week in the NFL. It's a wild week in college. I mean, I get it. Like some days it's tough to feel like you know which way's up.
Mm-hmm. Especially when you're a Saints fan,
Oh boy,
life's hard in that department.
How does that work being a Saints fan in Utah though? Yeah.
Well, I used to live in New Orleans for a half.
Yeah, no, I knew that.
Yeah.
I just like, do you get any of the games on regular TV or?
I get NFL Sunday Ticket. I can't live.
Yeah, you kind of have to.
If I don't, I have to have it. I have it on YouTube now, YouTube TV.
Yeah.
It's the greatest thing in my whole life. It's the only thing I am living for. And then the Saints make it worse and hard to live for regardless. But here we are. Yay.
I will say, man, that Kansas City game, there was some shenanigans.
Yeah. It's fine. It is. It's the season I expected it to be. So I have reconditioned myself to get into our losing way since we've lost Drew Brees, and it's fine. It's better that way. It's better.
I mean, I think, Carr, could he be the guy?
No. I've always said, here's the thing, man. I've always said he's just there as a replacement until we can find the guy, and maybe he can help mentor him, kind of like an Alex Smith with Patrick Mahomes thing.
Yeah.
And the hard part is this. I don't know if ever this is the thing with football. I know we're just a barbecue podcast, but this is important. Okay.
They do go hand in hand.
We were one pick away from drafting Patrick Mahomes. One pick, and the Chiefs traded up right before us to snab him right out from under our noses. And every time I see them play, that's all I can think about. And then they played together. And as they were beating us, I kept on thinking to myself, we could have been a contender. We could have had him. And it's all right. But here we are. Here we are. But you know what? We're here to talk about barbecue, right? Is that right?
Supposedly.
Unless we want to change this to the Right On, Oh, I'm a Saints fan, I want to jump off a cliff podcast, which actually would be a really therapeutic podcast for me to start, I think.
It's really, though, it's not like I've got a lot of room to talk because the Titans are on their way to an absolute, dumpster fire of the season.
Well, that's what happens when you get rid of a really good coach and trade.
Yeah, get rid of a really good coach and then get rid of your franchise player.
Yeah, that's how you do it, right?
That's how you do it.
Okay, let's do it. We're going to bring in Brad Ford real fast, and we'll introduce him and get on with the podcast and talk barbecue like you all came here to listen to anyway. So here we go.
Heck yeah, let's bring him on. What's up?
There he is.
What's happening, guys?
What's happening?
Hey,
good to have you, man. So, Brian, you are part of the barbecue team Electro-Que-ted, and I guess we're going to start with, we have to start, right? You have to start this way.
Are you sure it's not Electro-Que-ted?
Electro-Que-ted, is that what I said? Isn't it Wednesday? Is it Wednesday today, or is that tomorrow?
Feels like Wednesday.
Tomorrow? Oh, Wednesday was yesterday. God, I always get it wrong.
Emphasis on Ted.
Ted.
Electro-Que-ted.
We don't know who Ted is.
I was reading it too, and I didn't even get it right. That's how. This is your brain on work, guys. I don't recommend it.
Don't talk and work.
Can't talk and work at the same time. I need at least a 1 week. All right. So, how did it all begin, man? Where did it all start? Where did this barbecue bug bite you, and then what led to you doing barbecue today?
I give us the origin story.
Yeah, there you go.
The competition origin story was an accident. My wife convinced me to enter a local competition that I didn't want to enter because I didn't want to do presentation and all of the things, and she convinced me to do it anyway, and I GC'd it.
I think you're the only dude whose origin story has ever started out that way.
I know, right?
My wife.
Right.
I don't know how I GC'd it. It had to be an accident because I've looked back at the stuff we turned in and it was god awful.
It happens. I can just picture you guys in that living room and she's online going, "Oh my God, brisket's $230. Baby, you should join a contest."
Right. Right. You should leave for the entire weekend.
Yeah. How much does it cost? $2,000? Let's go.
And now don't you have a barbecue contest to go to?
That's amazing.
Yeah. So you started it, you had success out the gate, and then how long have you been doing it for?
A year, essentially. We did a total of 4 contests before this year. So right out of the gate, I GC'd the first one on accident and then fell on my face for the next 3. And then
shucks.
Yeah. And we did 2 contests last year, and it stormed on us during both contests. So we were standing in water, and our canopy was flying away, and I was pissed off. So I said, if we're going to do this again, we're doing it in a trailer. And then I bought a trailer, and I was like, well, I spent a bunch of money, so we should probably give this a go.
Yeah, you might as well.
Yeah. Before you did, before this season, had you guys done a KCBS event, or were they all like unsanctioned kind of
4
stuff?
unsanctioned events? Our first KCBS event was Smoke on the Shores in March of this year.
Holy shit, man!
Yeah.
I did. Okay, so I didn't realize that. That's awesome.
We've only done 11 KCBS comps.
Yeah.
Okay. Boy, man, damn. I guess I'm gonna go feel bad for myself after the show's over.
I don't do nothing halfway. So when I decided we were gonna do it, I went all in. I watched videos and took classes and watched more videos and practiced in between comps and just.
No, I mean that's amazing. So give me like a rundown on sort of what it was like when you guys were getting ready for this season and the off season. I know you guys. I know you did the Razor Racks class. Mm-hmm. I know you did Rooters and Tutors, and I want to get into those in a little bit. But like, did you guys? I mean, sit down and powwow about this? I mean, did we go through recipes? Like, hit me up. Like, let me know what it looked like going from like 4 unsanctioned comps to like what you guys turned in this year in terms of your overall performance.
We took probably all of December and January, and we cooked every weekend at home. Just
nice.
Every single weekend, if not once, twice. Watched a ton of YouTube and then realized half the stuff on YouTube doesn't even pertain to KCBS, but we didn't know any better. So, I mean, we were cooking whatever and just trying to come up with something. And then when we took the class in February, we completely changed everything we were doing and then started practicing again until we got to Smoke on the Shores.
And that's how it goes. Like, we got on, and I think our first thing I ever did was chicken, and it was how to barbecue right, and back in the Yellow Kitchen back then. And
yeah,
he was using like Smoking Guns Hot and his and this and that. And I was just like, that's what we did. And we did well. We did great, and
some of those early Malcolm.
Yeah, back in the early Malcolm videos.
We went through spurts where we'd watch a YouTube video and then I'd get online and I'd order every product on that YouTube video. And 2 weeks later, we wouldn't be using any of that stuff. We've got Suckle Buster stuff and Malcolm stuff and Cosmos stuff. I mean, we just go through and I'd order everything just to see what was working.
Yeah, I had quite a collection of rubs that I had to eventually get rid of because I was the same way. I'm like, oh, what's this? Oh, this is a cool this. I want to try this. And was like a mad scientist in the lab all the time, and you always stick with one. But man, all of a sudden when you're all said and done, your wife's going, are you gonna clean that? I had a whole shelf, restaurant style shelf, just from the top. I had 5 levels full of barbecue sauces or barbecue rubs and marinades and stuff. Man, it was crazy. And yeah, it was a lot of fun. But then we had to get rid of them all, and mostly I just gave them to people I knew. But that was a whole thing. Now I have like 5.
We use them on people's choice. We call it barbecue roulette. We just open the drawer and randomly draw out 2 or 3 rubs, and that's what we use.
Yeah.
Whatever sauces we've got laying around, we mix them all together, and that's what we use. And we could never recreate it, even if it's good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you do backyard barbecue, and we talked about doing KCBS in backyard, and that's 2 different things. That's a completely 2 different things entirely. Most of the time when you're doing a backyard contest, you do it's just whoever decides they want to put something on, like, hey, let's do a backyard contest for this, it'll be fun. KCBS came around, and they're really trying to push sanctioned backyard contests, and you have done one of those. Can you talk about the difference between the 2? Do you notice a huge difference? Is it harder with KCBS, easier?
I prefer the KCBS backyard over the unsanctioned events because I feel like the judging is more fair.
Yeah.
More consistent. I mean, at least most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
When you've just got an unsanctioned event and it's random of who's going to be judging what. I mean, we've even done comps where they thought we turned in a pork loin because we turned in money muscle medallions. And they're like, oh, you were supposed to turn in a pork butt. That's what I turned in. Oh, no, you turned in a pork loin. No, I didn't.
Like, that's how I get a famous Dave's. Come on.
Right.
That's not right. Yeah, and I think it's a really cool thing. I always say that, if we're going to repair this barbecue thing and get it back on track, it's got to start in the backyard. It has to happen. And the reason is because it's cheaper. It's less of a time commitment. You're not doing brisket. You're not doing pork butt most of the time. And sometimes, very rarely, they do have those thrown in just for fun. Sometimes you're just doing straight up ribs. It's a great way to get in, not cost a lot of money, not take a whole bunch of your time and investment to get started in barbecue. And I think it's like the only way that's going to happen. Because, like, I don't know, Brian, if your first contest was a backyard, I'm assuming if you were to jump into a KCBS, you'd probably be, F this. It was too expensive. Is that right? And are you glad you went that route?
Maybe. I mean, I didn't know what I was doing, and there's people that come to KCBS backyard events that don't know what they're doing. They get their feet wet. They talk to people. They'll learn stuff. I mean, I have no doubt that I wouldn't have GC'd my first event if I had been at a KCBS backyard event. But
yeah,
doesn't mean that I wouldn't have gotten into it.
We have
I've kicked this thought around quite
one
a bit.
person real quick.
And
bam, we got a new person.
Woo!
What's going on, guys?
What's happening?
Sorry, got stuck at work.
Introduce yourself to the people. We are right live and ready to go.
I'm Tweet, and I'm on Team Electro-Que-ted.
Sweet. And do you guys, I guess this kind of leads me to another question real quick, just to get you onboarded here. Do you guys do certain meets, or do you just kind of, just whatever you guys need to do? Who takes what?
Yeah, what does the workflow look like in y'all's trailer?
So workflow, Brian does a lot. He does all the trimming, the seasonings. I pretty much just run the smokers and make sure that everything's running smooth for him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's how kind of we ran. I went out and did all the things. I was the one practicing the most, and I was just needed help doing stuff. And then they eventually took over a certain meet. So it was a lot easier that way, to, let me kind of, and this thing isn't going back to that. We were just talking about Tweet is backyard, starting in backyard as opposed to jumping into KCBS. And I think that we started in backyard. That's where I started. And it was the best thing I ever did. In fact, I almost wish I would have. We had success because I took the time, had the money. I was able to like really take some high level classes right away. And so that helped me a ton. But if I didn't, I would be struggling, man. And I wish I would have stayed in the backyard to really hone in those skills a little bit, dial them in, get used to the process, get used to the timing that I needed. And, because like Brian said, man, things change all the time, especially when you're starting out and you're just like using this and taking this away and learning this. And I would rather do that, spending $75 to enter a contest than I would, spending far more, at a pro event.
Well, the problem with the unsanctioned events is you don't get any feedback.
No.
Yeah. So
well, it's meaningless even if you do.
Right.
I mean, like Logan and I did plenty of unsanctioned events where, like we would show up to like some parking lot and it would be put on by, like local county savings and loan and like, or, insert like generic community bank. And then like half of the judges were just the tellers from the bank. And like what you read like some of the comments, if you even got any, and they were just nonsense, I mean, like too peppery for how hot it is. I'm like, wait, what the fuck does that mean? Like
chicken tastes too much like chicken.
Right. But like I've been on this for a while, is that I'd love to see KCBS sort of shift the definition of backyard back to truly backyard. And then for like the stuff that we do, make it just a 2 to 3, like 2 to 3 versus 4 meet pro.
Right.
Like you're either 2 meet or a 4 meet pro. And then backyard is truly dudes who have like 3 or less, 4 or less, some number of comps.
Right.
That would indicate that they're very much still like a rookie or a novice.
That's a hard one, man. It's a hard one because like, you want to go in, like you said, then the judges in the unsanctioned events could be anyone, like a bank teller
anybody
and stuff. And so we would actually just cook our ribs, overcook them so they would fall off the bone, because that's what they wanted. Just because Sizzler and those high-end restaurants can't cook ribs,
right.
They want to like overcook them. They've trained us as humans to like the overcooked rib. It's hard to do that. And so you had to watch the way you cooked it. So it could be, we're fortunate in Utah to have the 70-yard backyard contest. Samantha is in Utah. We do them all the time. It's like $100, 75, depending on for the backyard. Pretty cheap. In fact, there was one for $50 not too long ago.
I was about to say, Samantha just asked like where the hell you can find a backyard contest for $75.
Unsanctioned.
Mm-hmm. It's unsanctioned is what it is.
Right.
But the fortunate thing is everyone in the barbecue community here mostly are KCBS judges. They're, so
True.
It's nice for us. We run a KCBS program. Jesse Johnson from the Pitmaster Supplies Company here runs them mostly, and he has a whole setup. He has a crew that comes around and judges it, and it's actually been really nice that way. We got fortunate, so that's a $75 podcast or backyard contest.
But that sounds like a backyard contest though, where people, or like an unsanctioned contest where people like are invested in what's going on and know what they're doing.
Yeah, 100%. And they judge all the time. They're SCA judges. They're we have master judges. They don't come to those, but hell, I've judged them. I'm a CBJ, so I've judged them a bunch before. Because I can't do them anymore. We have a rule that if you win one, you can't do them anymore, and so or you've done on pro, you can't go backwards. So, but yeah, it's so I've judged them before. So we're very competent. I'm sure that there's some out there like that. There has to be, but maybe just because we're in Utah and we're so isolated. Like I've always made fun of everyone in your guys' area. You could just trip over a contest, walk into the store, like, so if for us, we got to do what we can do, and backyard's kind of the way to go here. It's very prominent here. So it's the only thing going right now. But
yeah, absolutely. So I see that the official podcast account is in the comments, talking shit about somebody being a peepaw.
I knew that was going to happen.
Yeah. I figured it was too. Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you.
How's it feel?
Not having any kids of my own, like biologically, it's definitely weird. Like I've skipped the baby stage 100%, everything like that.
Say.
And it's like, what is this?
I mean, like you just kind of skipped over like the tough bits and like right to the golden years.
Sure.
Isn't it about your bedtime?
Easy, old man.
So let's pretend for 1 second that I'm not from the South and I know exactly what a peapot is.
Grandfather.
Grandfather. All right. Yeah.
Yeah, Tweet's officially a grandfather.
Is that right?
Yes.
Oh, wow. That's cool. Nice, man. I guess that should be, congrats, I guess. Being a grandpa, that's crazy.
I always laugh because like we're at this age where like I could either be like single and kidless, I could be a father, like a new father myself, or a grandfather. It's just whatever. Like this is kind of anything goes at this point.
Yeah, I'm gonna be dead before that happens. I'm 46 years old and my oldest daughter's 10. So, I'll be gone way before the grands. Who knows? It depends.
Right.
She can go slumming. She's got I don't know, we'll see. How old do humans live now? Like 80, 75, something like that?
I have no idea.
Right? So maybe I have some time. Maybe I'll agree a grandpa one day.
I don't know, man. I mean, look at Keith Richards. He's got to be like 700.
He is 700, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. That's that meme where it says, we have to take care of the earth so we can leave a better planet for
Keith Richards.
Right.
That's true. That's the truth. So back to barbecue.
Back onto barbecue.
What are you guys cooking on?
We've got an outlaw and
right?
Hunsaker drum.
And what do you cook on what?
Chicken on the drum, everything else on the outlaw.
Yeah.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. Those outlaws, man, they're good ass cookers. I've cooked on them, but it was funny because when they were first coming out, everyone seemed to be getting one, and I was like, it's just an offset, whatever. And yeah, they're great. They're really good cookers. Very good cookers. I want to get one myself, but
So chicken is entirely on a drum. Like you guys don't do like a hybrid setup where you're moving them back and forth.
No, I would probably cook chicken on the outlaw. It just gets darker than what I want it to. And I get the turnout that I want on the drum. So even if we're just doing two meat, we literally fire up the outlaw just to cook ribs on and set sauce.
Logan's got a good question. Like, how did you guys have the outlaw before and just like, that's what we got? Or did you like, dude, we're getting an outlaw and we're going to start competing?
Well, I had an HBT pull behind smoker that we started with, and I like an offset. So then I bought a gravity feed offset to put on the porch trailer, but it wouldn't fit on the porch trailer. And then if you got it on the porch trailer, you couldn't load it with charcoal. So it didn't fit, and it just kind of ruined my plan. So I was like, I need an offset for the porch, and I need it now.
Mm-hmm.
And got online and found the outlaw and ordered it. I had it in 2 weeks. I had it the week before we did Smoke on the Shores.
How was the transition? Did you have to? Was there a learning curve? Trying to learn
not really. Just had to figure out, that it's going to take a whole lot less fuel, and it helped that we took the class, and they had an outlaw and a Jambo, so we watched both of them work during the class.
Okay.
Is y'all an XL?
No,
like the outlaw patio, right?
No, it's the regular. It's an outlaw patio, but it's the full size.
Yeah.
Okay.
Heck yeah.
What kind of wood you cooking on it? Are you burning on it?
We do 100% oak. We were doing oak and hickory, but we transitioned to just oak and couldn't tell the difference.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a whole other conversation about wood and different kinds of flavors. I think for me, it's funny. Like I always tried it, and I was always, use pecan because of the sweetness. And I'm like, I don't know if they can tell the difference. To be honest. And then I got mesquite. And I'm like, there it is. That's one. That's one you can tell. That was definitely one you could tell.
It does stand out.
Yeah,
I had somebody tell me you
flavor for sure.
Can't use just oak.
Mm. Yeah, oak is kind of neutral, man. It's just kind of blends in with most everything else. There's some stronger woods for sure, but do you think it was overpowering? You just didn't like it?
I personally don't like when people over smoke with hickory.
Mm-hmm.
I absolutely hate burping up hickory smoke after you eat anything. So I try to go with as light a smoke flavor as possible. You still want the smoke flavor, but not overpowering.
Do you think that's how you should judge wood, is by the burp?
Yes. Definitely.
The regurge.
Yes. I need to take my Pitmaster's book that I have, a pit book I got from Like it's like, those ones, and we had to add a burp section. Burp test.
The regurg factor.
You're like, you write it down and you're like, it was very tender. We cooked at this degree and it burped well. It was a very good burp I had 4 days later, actually.
That's how you gauge how much liquid smoke they put in it.
There you go. Yeah.
It finished nicely on the second swallow. The second round of swallowing was nice.
When I had heartburn and threw up in my mouth, it was delicious.
Tastes just as good coming back up.
I didn't want to take Tums. I felt it was great. 10 out of 10 burp test. I like that. And when you cook chicken on the drum, is there any reason for that? Just why do you like the drum better?
I like the color that it gives the chicken, and at this point it works, and we don't want to change something that's working.
Mm-hmm.
Wait till the off season to try something different.
Yeah. I like drums and chicken. It actually works really well. It's a really good system to use. It's really nice. I mean, most of the time, I don't know how you guys do it, but we're putting it into a half pan pretty soon anyway, the base. So
right,
it doesn't get a whole lot of smoke on it and doesn't get a whole lot of, toastiness to it, but they work really well. We
can run 2 different temperatures.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So Logan's running the show from the chat here, guys, but
he really is. And I know that he is just probably coming unglued with what Rusty and I have done to the pod. But
he's over there going, what in the hell? So just so you know, guys, you can write into the show, and just send your complaints to Logan at juno.com.
I personally don't give a shit, but feel free to tell Logan everything you think.
He doesn't care either.
No, he really does. But Logan's point is a great point. I did want to get into y'all's classes before we tackled Logan's question. Like I know y'all did like the Razor Racks class, and y'all did the Rooters and Tutors class. Like, I'm interested to hear like y'all's feedback on both of those classes, but I'm also kind of interested to hear like your thoughts on how that helped you guys go from like basically just being a team that has done a handful of unsanctioned comps to like the success you've had this year, which has been fantastic, by the way, because you guys are sitting like 14th overall in backyard.
Yeah,
13th, 14th.
We're 14th overall. We're 11th in ribs and 17th in chicken.
Yeah, I thought like somewhere in the teens on chicken and like 11th ribs.
Yeah, so the classes actually, it was one class, and Razor Racks did 2 meets and Rooters and Tutors did 2 meets.
Okay, I didn't know if y'all had done a separate class or that y'all did a combined class.
The biggest thing that I learned taking the class is that we weren't doing near enough.
Mm-hmm.
Not enough. We weren't brining. We weren't injecting. We were using 1 or 2 rubs on each meat. Basically, we were using Blues Hog Champion right out of the bottle. We just weren't doing
pretty good stuff.
It was still pretty good stuff. I mean, it wasn't bad, but our current program is nothing like the original program. And we've taken parts from those classes and mixed other stuff in with it. So we're not cooking any exact recipe that we got from the class. So there's a mixture of Razor Racks, Rooters and Tutors. I bought Bill's master class, a ton of stuff on the barbecue league, just bits and pieces here and there, and kind of mixed it together. Probably Big James has helped me as much as the class did. I mean, I talk to James probably 3 times a week.
Nice.
And we talk about barbecue all the time. And
I mean, classes are the only way to go, in my opinion. They're so available. There's so many of them. YouTube's a great. I don't know, man. YouTube was so scarce back then to get some really good stuff. Looking back on it now, there's a lot of content on there, but looking back on it, some really sustainable stuff. I didn't really see a lot of it. So going to those in-person classes, which I think is really good too. But Barbecue Champs Academy is what really awesome. And I know they're expensive. But man, there's some people on there that can take you from 0 to GC, Yeah,
the information's out there. You've just got to be willing to go get it.
Yeah, I mean, I own several of those classes, and it's helped me a ton, you know. And like Logan said, YouTube, you get a lot of different stuff. Like we kind of took a step back on YouTube a little bit. Luckily for me, we didn't use it in competition. We kind of snuffed it out on our own. But we're like, ooh, that didn't work at all. I try to stay away from it personally, but I mean, barbecue champs is my jam. I I feel like I should get a kickback on that because I own so many of those damn classes. But I mean, just going to personal classes too. I went to, Bill, Tim Shear and Brad Leininger's class, and Smitty from Loot and Booty and all those, and I was able to taste the food, and it was really cool, and it helped me so much. And yeah, it was a very big upfront cost, but in the end I made that up by winning, and doing well, and getting calls and getting checks, and and the difference is a lot of people I know who jump into it, get in the backyard, and then go into the pros. They think, well, I can do it, and they do 2 years later, and if they can make it that long. I think it helps you sustain. It helps you build your confidence up, which I think is a huge deal. And it's something you can hold on to for a long time and have, and go back to all the time. I go back to notes still today going, oh, wow, we never did that. That's cool.
I have the notes from the Rooters and Tooters and Razorbacks classes in our barbecue trailer in a drawer. Wow. So at any point in time, if I need to go back and look and see what they did and what notes I took, it's right there.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And it's funny how you will miss some of that stuff, and you go back to it, it's crazy. So it's a good tool to have. I think taking classes is the best way to go. I honestly feel like I would take all of them if I could. Taking one is great. Taking 2, 3, or 4 is even better, just because you get, like, you guys know, you took 2 great classes, and you can
when you
use
take
those.
The class and you're sitting there and you realize that half of the people taking the class were top 20 the year before.
Mm-hmm.
But they're still taking somebody else's class. I mean, that tells you a lot about what people are doing to stay on top of their game.
You have to. Things are changing all the time. Teams are coming up and winning all the time, and those are the people you
Case in point, y'all.
We just got lucky.
Yeah. So a lot of luck.
We just hit the right tables.
Oh yeah. Just kind of stumbled into a top 20 finish your first year.
It's funny because I listen to like Darren Worth's podcast, and he'll still talk a lot about how he learned something from someone, on this, and he tries it and it works, So even Darren Worth himself is learning every time he goes out, from someone else. So it's just something you always want to be doing. Always be learning. That's not really good. A, B, C. C is not learning. Is it? C is not an L. That works. I tried.
ABL. Always be learning.
Yeah, that doesn't ring well though.
It's really bad. Yeah,
people's kind of like, "What are you okay? Like, do you need medical attention?" No, APL, man.
I'm just having a seizure.
I think he's having a stroke. Oh,
No, I mean, I've it's one of the things I haven't really gotten to do and haven't really gotten to do enough of, and it's one of the things I lean on Logan for. It in the dynamic with our team is the classes just it seems like an amazing experience, and it definitely seems like something that you really kind of have to do to make that step if you want to level up, either from like being a backyard contender to like a solid backyard contender, or like you want to level up from backyard to pro.
What shortens the learning curve? I mean, you could go and do it on your own and take 2 years to do it, or you can spend some money and buy the answers you're looking for right now.
You're buying time. That's what I'm trying to say, is that you're buying a lot of time. You can figure it out, sure, absolutely. But you're buying a lot of time and money, because if you're spending all that time and money learning on your own, that's a lot of money you're spending on meat.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely.
Especially when you're first trying it and you have a $240, 25-pound, Snake River Gold in front of you, going, I hope I don't mess this up.
I was gonna say, once you get into like brisket, it's like good heavens.
I'm not gonna say that we haven't cooked a practice brisket and raked it in the trash because it was inedible.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've ruined plenty.
I'm like 165 is done, right? Is it 165 or 175? Which one is it? It's called 165 will be fine. That was just me at home cooking, and I was like, it was so funny. I actually thought it was good. I was like, this is good. This is kind of just like a rough pot roast. This is fine.
No, man, I like a medium rare. I want it like 150.
Oh yeah, 130.
Yeah,
130.
Bring it down to 145. I like a medium rare.
Just a good blackened, like a blackened, ribeye or a blackened brisket. Can you get a brisket Pittsburgh style, please?
It's just a ribeye covered in pepper.
You want to wear a good vet could bring it back.
You just sear it on your flat top. There you go. That's all it needs. I want to try that. I bet it's awful.
There's no way it's good.
You can tell me how it is.
I will. I will. Absolutely. So, what are you guys' plans on going pro? What's the journey there? What's the plan?
Yes. Please get into it. And while you do, I hope nobody minds. I'm going to grab another beer.
Do it.
Go for it. I'd like to say we're on a 5-year plan ish.
Just doing backyards and stuff until.
I mean, we'll probably ease into a few pro comps a year. I mean, because you can do 3 a year without sacrificing your backyard status, and you can do 12 total.
Really?
So, I mean, you could ease into it. I mean, definitely next year we're going to do just backyard KCBS sanctioned events and just see how that year goes.
How many are there in your area like that?
They're all in Alabama.
Enough to do 5 or 10? There's enough of those?
Oh, yeah.
Alabama is
we'll probably end up doing
with
20.
KCBS backyard comps.
But they have them.
Oh, no. I mean, they're everywhere. Alabama is just full of them.
They're not here. They're not here, that's for sure. I would love to do KCBS backyard, man. I would be all over it. I tried to have them here before, but it's hard.
We spend almost as much time in Alabama as we do in Tennessee at this point.
And honestly, I really think like Alabama has more of them.
They do.
And every one of them I've gone to has been like very well organized and has been fun.
Wow. Every weekend.
Yeah, I mean, in the backyard only Alabama comps will still have 40 teams.
Bingo.
What?
Yes.
Oh yeah, a small comp in Alabama has 30 teams in it.
What in the world?
Yeah.
Where am I living? What the hell? Jeez.
Yeah, I mean
Rusty, fly in and come like do some Alabama backyard with us.
Yeah, that's what we have to do. Here basically it's what I'm doing anyway, man. There's none in Utah. We're driving to Montana as our closest comp, Montana. And by the way, we have
not close to Utah.
It's like huge ass. This isn't like driving from New Hampshire to Massachusetts. This is like you're like 5 hours in. You're like, we're almost out of Utah. Woohoo.
Good. Now we only have 17 hours of Montana to drive.
Real talk, though. Now that the one in Utah, Southern Utah, is gone, the closest one to us is an 8-hour drive. So,
whoa.
Yep.
I'm doing that in 2 weeks, and I'm dreading it.
And we would do that constantly. That's all we would do is, just, okay, let's drive to California. Let's drive to Montana. Let's drive to Colorado. There's one in Casper. So that one's probably maybe 6 hours. Let's drive to Arizona. A lot of Arizona comps. A lot of that stuff. That was the hard life. So, I mean, might as well drive to Alabama, right? Might as well do it.
Do it. So most of the Alabama comps are within 4 hours of us. So a 4-hour trip is pretty standard. If it starts getting around 5 to 6, that's a long trip for us.
Where are y'all based out
of? 40 miles west of Nashville.
So
Dixon, Tennessee.
Yeah. Same. I mean, I'm here in Nashville, and yeah, I agree with you 100%. There are, like, if you include the northern half of Alabama, there are probably 40 comps within 2 to 3 hours drive.
Yeah, probably
in a season.
Wow. I just want you guys to know, if a team from anywhere in the West is popping up on your radar in any top 10 anything, put some respect on their name, because that ain't easy. That is hard to log that many comps to even get on that list. Like I always say, my mentor Jerry Aguilar, he did 19 contests and was the fifth in team of the year for KCBS. And because that was the only things he could cook. It was 19 contests, you know. He just did really well in all of them.
Based out of where?
California. Corona.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's impressive for a West Coast based team.
Yeah, there's a lot in California. There is. I'll give you that. But as far as the West goes, there's far more in California than anything else. But just saying out there, you guys, all you Southern boys, if you see those Western guys come out, that they're mean business.
I agree. I'm not going to indulge any of the Roll Tide nonsense that's going on in the comments right now, but I will give Alabama credit. They have a really fantastic backyard comp scene.
That's
and
cool.
The more I go to, the more fun I have. Like the first time I ever went to that Coleman one, I had no fucking clue what it was going to be like. Like pulled up, cracked a beer, and there were like Benedictine monks walking around, and ended up having a monster time at that comp. It was fantastic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What's like the, I guess, I mean, I do believe that there's profiles. I don't think they're as prominent as people think, but is there a difference between, you know, like going to Alabama so as far as Tennessee? Do you guys still run the same program? Is there something different down there that
you run the exact same program?
Because like in Arizona, man, those people, they like garbage. I don't know why they eat garbage. It's really nice. I guess garbage has got to go somewhere.
Shots fired.
Right?
Just shitting on Arizona on the show tonight.
I mean, do you think the garbage goes? But it's definitely goes to the judges.
So if you go to Arizona, you do your ribs, salt, pepper, garlic, no wrap.
I don't know, man. Just go to the Dickies and just take some ribs and go. I don't know what the hell they're doing down there. No, I've you know, in my past experiences doing podcasts, we have a hard time in Arizona and we struggle. And I've always made fun of them as being terrible taste. And then I found out they have like 20 something master judges down there. So I'm just like, well, maybe we suck. It's us. It's got to be us. But yeah, Luton Booty did figure it out. Like Logan said here in the chat, Smitty kills it all over the place. But we run his program, his stuff a lot. Like his rubs are fantastic. So
absolutely.
And they play everywhere, man. So, but that's
getting into it. Like speaking of, like, since we're giving Alabama all this love, and you know, we've talked about y'all's season that you've had this year. What's the favorite comp you guys have cooked this year?
Pusa-Q.
Nice.
Pusa-Q was probably my favorite. My second favorite was probably Smoke on the Shores in Lebanon. And cooking the World Open was cool. I mean, we didn't do very good, but it was cool.
The World Invitational, the KCBS?
Well, obviously, we didn't get to the Invitational because we didn't cook last year.
Oh, yeah.
So we just cooked the Open and then left.
Oh, the Open. Yeah. That, yeah. I don't want to talk about that. That's
when people ask me about the Open, I say, well, we came in 99th out of 120, so we didn't win last.
Guess who else did in the Invitational? This guy. We got murdered. That was the quietest drive home I think we've ever done. I don't know how it happened, but we got absolutely destroyed there. I think we had cooked well. So
I think we came in like 60th in ribs, and I was super happy with that. I was like, middle of the road in this field. I'm good with it.
Yeah. I would love to have that. We got dead ass last in ribs, and there's probably a DQ too. That's how bad it was, you know, and we still got last place.
Like, well, we're the only people that on this podcast right now that took a DQ this year. So
yeah,
that's why where's the clock?
What happened with your DQ? What happened? Was it?
Oh, we took a time DQ on one of the meets early on in the season, but you know what? We got a Flavor Flav clock out of it, so it's pretty cool.
Really? Is that what you get? That's cool.
Yeah.
They call you out, so you got DQ. That's nice. That's nice of them. At least they should do that.
I know. Yeah, Logan, I know your ass is listening to this. Who the hell got us that Flavor Flav clock?
Oh, it wasn't the organizers. It was just some.
No, it's just another team.
I was thinking that's such a crazy cool thing to have, just in case someone does, you know. And for the DQ, Hunt.
Oh, okay. Yeah, fantastic. Thanks, Hunt.
That's funny. I love that. If I ever do a competition, I'm gonna have a clock just in case. Like you can, and with a chain on it, the whole nine.
Oh, that's what we have.
That's sick. I love it. What a
Go
great
to a thrift store and get a $20 grandfather clock, and that's what you give them. Where they got to wheel it out on a dolly.
There you go. Yeah, the biggest, gaudiest thing you can find.
Oh, absolutely. I don't mind
chime for every
gaudy.
10 minutes to every 1 minute. That'd be great. But yeah, that's a cool idea. I like that. But so you're gonna take it easy in the backyard comp, and I guess you can. That's good. That's good. What would make it like? When do you think you're ready for, and not necessarily ready, but want to do that? You're just trying to get your chops going, or you're just like, you know what? I love backyard comps. This is great. I don't want to push this any further. We're having a great time.
Part of it is we would have to drive further to get enough comps. I mean, there's all the comps close to us are backyard comps.
Okay.
So we'd be driving further away. And I mean, honestly, if you're not showing up and dominating every single comp you go to, you're not going to be super competitive on the master side, in my opinion. I mean, I could be completely wrong, but I mean, if you're still, it's hit or miss. And I mean, we've had a good season, but sometimes we literally don't know if we're going to come in middle of the road or top 5. I mean, we're still running the same program, but anything can happen.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's not like we haven't went to a comp in Alabama and ended up, 16th in chicken and 17th in ribs after we'd had a first place rib call the week before. I mean, it just happens. So, I mean, if you're not absolutely dominating every comp you go to, I don't know how competitive you would be.
Yeah.
And if you're dominating every comp you go to, how much fun's that going to be? I mean, winning's fun, but I mean, if you don't have any question anymore, you're just rolling in to collect your trophies. How much fun's that going to be?
There's 2 people I want to be.
It sounds pretty awesome.
1, I want to be someone who can fall asleep when the plane's taking off. And 2, I want to be the person that's so confident in what they did, they just left before their awards. I'm out.
Look at Curly Bird. They left this past weekend and they got a first place rib call.
That's my favorite part is like the awards, the build up and all that stuff. That's like what I do it for. That's so fun. I couldn't leave. I couldn't do it. Unless, I knew we're like last place DQ'd all of it. But then even then it's fun to see what happened, So, but that I would like just kind of walk off, just, throw the 3 and walk away as it swishes behind me. That'd be nice. That's the life. Like, bye.
Deuces.
Sending my first place check in the mail. We're on our way back because now we have to drive 12 hours because we live in Utah. And that's the only way we can do it.
Dude, from any of those comps in Alabama, 12 hours isn't even going to get you like cross continental divide.
Brothers Q barbecue supply left and got a 180. That's
true.
Where was that?
Luckily, Cody got to take a picture with his 180 trophy and his own 180 trophy.
Wow. That's funny. That's cool. I know that there's a lot of people I know that do that too, that win a lot too. There's 2 things that, if you do, then if you win a lot, you should just stay around for awards. And 2, sit in the damn front. Don't sit in the back. Like you win all the time. All right. Don't wait for us to walk your ass up to the very front to get your award. Just as a personal favor to me. And first place again. Okay. We're waiting for him. He's getting top 5 every time and he's way in the back. It's pretty funny. Okay. So, talk about everyone's talking about how like you're on fire this year, how well you're doing this year. So,
absolutely.
What kind of are you guys doing? You think that like you could tell someone that's getting into the backyard competitions and starting out, because that's where a lot of people are starting out. And apparently, if you have enough, they're freaking just doing it all the time because you can. What is some tips you give to people just starting and getting into it?
Practice,
consistency,
reps.
I mean, because even the very beginning of the year, like it's Smoke on the Shores, we didn't do very well either. So I mean, even after taking the class and all the practice we did, we still didn't do very well right out of the gate. But we just kept on it, just repetition and do the same thing over and over and over again. Eventually, you're going to get better at it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and just practice. And I would add to that too, a lot of, like you said, like you had 2 competitions in very bad weather. Sometimes when it's really bad weather, step out and cook something, anticipate it, go cook it, see how your cooker works in it. What do you have to do to adjust in the rain? What do you have to do to adjust in the wind? Especially if you're using barrels. I don't know much about the offsets in competitions, but barrels can be affected by the wind a lot. So
sure,
it could get it hotter than you wanted to. It can mess with you a little bit. So it's good to know those things. Fortunately, we did a lot. Actually, it was hard for us because we actually went to a sunny day and like, wow, we've never cooked on a nice day before. I don't know how this is going to work out. But I think it's nice if you're going to do reps, make sure not to, forget about the elements.
So we actually practiced in super cold weather, practiced in the rain.
Yeah.
I mean, like when we were cooking every weekend, it was every single weekend, no matter what. Mm-hmm. And sometimes we would break it up and do just 1 meat one weekend or 2 meats. I mean, we weren't doing a 4 meat practice all the time, but we've done a 4 meat practice too.
Yeah.
For the Worlds, we did a 4 meat practice. Just run the timeline, get up at the ass crack of dawn and cook just like you're sitting at a comp and try to hit your turn in times.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah. Great consistency out of the Hunsaker.
Yes. Yeah, and the Outlaw too. The Outlaw is really unaffected by the wind or anything. So the HBT that we cooked out of before, if you caught a wind going the wrong direction, I mean, it would skyrocket. It would run away with you in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
But the way the vent works on the bottom of the Outlaw, we don't have any problems out of that. And it seems to cook a lot better when it's raining. We do pretty well when it's pouring rain.
Nice.
So do we. Well, we do. But yeah, it's, and practice, like I said, is huge. Getting in elements is huge. Running your timeline is huge too. But I don't know how your rules are out there, but what we did is when we got feeling good about it, we did a contest or 2, we did well, but I invited a judge over to my house for one of our practices to give us some feedback. And he said a few things that were just small things. And I said, okay, well, we'll switch that up. And we did a little things. We tweaked it a little bit. And that was our first GC was that next 2 weeks, that 2 weeks after that, we GC for the very first time. So, they'll ask them to come help you too, judges, to get a feel for what you're doing, because they
can do that
all the time,
You can do that at comps too. I mean, we've gotten feedback from other teams. Pretty common when we go to a comp to see people passing out ribs or pieces of chicken to just get an opinion, but take people's criticism for what it is. I mean, if your chicken happened to suck at that comp, then it just sucks. I mean, own it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we got feedback from AJ at this past comp, and I mean, we did really well in chicken, but I still wanted his honest opinion.
What does he know about it?
But
no, I love AJ.
You take people's criticism and make adjustments, and you'll improve. I mean, especially some of these seasoned guys that have been cooking for a couple of years. I mean, they've been doing it for a couple of years. They've won plenty of GCs. I mean, their opinion's valid.
Yep. They'll tell you. And a lot of people will tell you. I mean, you always hear the old time, people who were cooking 10, 15 years ago about, how Shiggin was such a big deal and how it was, everyone kept things so tightly to their chests. And I've never had that experience. I've always had people very willing to help. And we'd always ask people like, what should we do? And there's a lot of times, we would learn things like with chicken, the advice I was given is, know your number and stick to it. And, or learn your piece of meat and stick to it. Like if you want to do Snake River Blacks, practice with them, get good at it. You don't have to do a gold and just practice on that stuff. And it's just little tweaks and things you just learn along the way. And there's little tiny advice that you shouldn't ignore. At least try it, especially if it's coming from someone big, like you said, Ryan. It's that's awesome. It's so helpful.
Probably another piece of advice I would give new teams is don't underestimate the importance of the quality of meat you're cooking.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Because, I mean, if you start with shit, you're going to end with shit.
Yep.
But we started out, everything we bought was coming from Kroger or Walmart. I mean, there was no brand specific. I mean, we didn't even know what we were looking for to pick out. That took some time to figure out and ask people. And when you're looking at your ribs that you bought at Kroger on sale and they don't look anything like the ribs that people are winning with, it just don't underestimate the quality of your meat. That's super important.
Mm-hmm.
So I shouldn't buy the discount stuff at Food Kitty.
You can, and I have. It's just not going to do very well.
Just ain't gonna hit.
Yeah, I mean, quality meat is obviously what changed the game for the worst, in my opinion. But it is what it is. It is what it is now. We have to roll with it. You're not going to win on a prime brisket, and if you do, call me. I would love to know. I'll pay you I'll pay you however much you want to pay me, or have me pay you to learn how you did a GC first place brisket with a prime. So I want to hear it. But you can. I mean, it can be done for sure. What I'm trying to say is that that's just the game now. You just have to spend more and get more. If you're gonna go shop at the dollar store for your chicken, you don't expect much. Do they sell chicken at the dollar store? That'd be pretty cool. That actually be pretty.
They sell
awesome.
everything else at the dollar store.
Yeah, that'd be funny. That's what we should do, dude. You know what we should do? A contest where you can only shop for your meat at the dollar store.
Cool.
That would be a cool contest.
I've wanted to do an unsanctioned inter-team contest where, like, say the last one of the year where we all, like a bunch of us that end up at the same comps get together, we do a cocktail contest with all of the airplane bottles that they give you in the welcome bags.
Yeah, we can do that. There's probably 7 or 8 of those floating around in our trailer.
I don't know how many racks of just like rot gut airplane bottles we've got like rattling around in that trailer. But I was like, yeah, we should just open it up, do a mid comp contest where you got to pass them out to the other teams.
That's funny.
But no, I mean, like dollar store chicken. It's like gas station sushi. I'm sorry, like you can't turn that in.
I know a guy who placed in chicken wings, and all he did was went and bought pre-cooked wings from Walmart and put some saucy about at Walmart on it. Turn them in. And he placed, so that was fun. That was good for him. So,
we got our asses kicked so bad at a doubleheader one time. I was like, let's just go buy Applebee's ribs, just turn them in. Like, there's no way they could be worse.
There you go. Actually, that might be the strat when you say there's unsanctioned contests. Just go buy some baby backs from Chili's and say, there you go.
Chili's ribs.
Is that what you want?
Are you not entertained?
That's what you want. I gave it
Put
to
Sweet
you.
Baby Ray's on everything. They'll love it.
Right? KC Masterpiece. There you go. That's how you do it. But yeah.
Well, Rusty, I think we're coming into it.
Yeah. It's been that time that flew by. That was like a Wednesday, just flew right on by.
It felt like a Wednesday. I think we still got to do the Brothers Barbecue Supply lightning round. I think we still got that left to go.
Do it.
Nice. Did he set you up with the Jersey Shore air horn sound effects yet?
Oh, the Jersey Shore air storm? Yeah, he told me how to do that. Do I remember how to? No.
No.
I suck. He did show me though. That's on me. I lose.
It's okay. I have no idea how to do it either.
We can do it, right?
Just voice them over, Houston. It'll be fine.
I could probably Google one and just play it on the computer speaker.
There you go.
I have
Actually,
no
didn't he
idea.
say it was on his thing? It wasn't on this one.
It may be on his soundboard. Who gives a shit?
So fancy, dude.
But as every guest we have on the show, we always have them answer a couple questions. Sponsored by Brothers Q Barbecue Supply. And so if you guys are ready, I'll kick it off. What is y'all's favorite thing to cook at home?
Steak.
Okay. Nice team
You
solidarity.
have to calm down over there, Tweet.
I mean, yours, Mr. Talks a lot.
No, man, I love the dichotomy between y'all. What? All right. So in a comp, what favorite protein to cook? Favorite comp protein?
Mine's ribs.
I like doing pork.
Yeah. Nice. All right. Beach vacation, mountain vacation.
Mountains.
Mountain.
Oh, nice. In stereo. Fantastic. All right. What's on y'all's playlist in the trailer?
Divorced dad rock.
All right. We normally don't go into detail on the lightning round, but you got to elaborate on that one.
It's all 90s grunge metal or new metal.
Okay.
Angry music.
Angry music. Kill the Puppies music.
All right. Listen to a bunch of Kill the Puppies music. Fantastic. And then what is one thing that you guys have learned this season that you wish you had known at the start of it?
I don't know. That's a tough one.
That's a really hard one.
I mean, it doesn't have to be anything earth shattering, and you don't have to give away any or shit that you want to keep to yourselves. But I've always found this one interesting.
I don't know if it's something that I wish I'd learned earlier, but I feel like there's probably a total of about 20 different rubs and 7 different sauces amongst every team at every comp.
Wow. Yeah.
I'm gonna go with the silica packs and the rubs.
Okay.
Yeah, we started putting silica packs in all of our shakers in the trailer so they don't clump up. We're not having to throw a bunch of rubs away.
Nice.
That's a good one.
Nice. That's a solid one. Fantastic. Well, guys, thank you so much for being on. Rusty, you got anything else?
No, sir. I don't. I just want Brees Hall to score 25 points so I can win my fantasy league. That's all.
Houston, you're ruining
so far, I would say that you are probably not going to end up having that happen.
I'm undefeated. I'm going up to the only undefeated team in our league, and I'm going to lose because they had a monster week, and Brees Hall needs to score 26 more points. Okay, come on. He can do it.
Dude, my team is a 5-alarm garbage fire. I mean, I would roster like Helen Keller at this point because I don't see how it could get any worse.
That's funny.
But that's, it is what it is. But guys, why don't you tell everybody where they can find you, and if you've got any sponsors or anybody that in particular that you want to give a shout out to, like, yep, please feel free.
We're on TikTok and Facebook, Electro-Que-ted TikTok.
Hell yeah.
And then our sponsors are Innovative Electric, Tennessee Off-Road Conservation, Anything Photography, and Big James Kitchen.
Nice.
People ask why we win. We tell them it's the Chub Rub.
It's the Chub Rub.
It's a fantastic rub. It has a very distinct flavor, and that's what we're using to win.
Heck yeah, man. Well, look, if it's working, it's hitting, then hell yeah. Game on.
Well, cool. Well, thanks for stopping by, guys. We really appreciate the time you had taken with us and sharing all the stories and tips like that, putting that little thing in the shaker. I didn't think about that. It's freaking awesome.
Yeah, I really didn't either. So that's
especially when you go to humid areas, it'd be freaking perfect.
Yeah, like all of the deep south.
Everywhere.
Hey, that's one problem we don't have.
It's humid right now.
I was gonna say.
We're in the desert. But it's happened. All right, guys. Hey, continue to kick some ass, man, and hopefully we'll circle back around and catch you guys later and see how everything's going. And
yeah, absolutely. Are you guys done for the year?
No, we're cooking roast and boast this weekend and barbecue next weekend.
Sweet.
Nice. So, here's hoping you guys get in there on that top 10, and I hope to keep hearing your name called, and congratulations on the year. It's freaking awesome.
Appreciate it.
For sure. All right, guys, take it easy, have fun, and go Brees Hall.
Hey, thank you. Well, I guess that's it for tonight, but
yeah, that was fun. That was good.
Yeah.
I wish I could do backyard comps again. I would do it. I would be like that. I would be pro. No, I'm good. I'm just gonna do backyard comps for the rest of my life. That would be so great.
I'm telling you, man. Next season, fly in and come do one with us.
I might. That would be cool. Yeah, if everything works out with the business and I can take some time away, that might be something to be really neat. I think to at least go out and try it, and see how the other half live. 50 freaking teams on a backyard, bro. We're like doing, hey, 12 showed up. Yeah, we need 12. That's how we're looking. So,
yeah, I mean, there's enough of them that you could fly into Nashville and just like stay in the area and do one.
Just take a month and just go do the tour of like 50. So a month would give me what 470 competitions. Probably. Is that right? Any given time. Awesome. Like you go to freaking 7-Eleven, you get a slushie, you get one buy one comp free.
Dude, Logan and I have been joking about doing one at Buc-ee's now for like the entire season.
Like a comp at Buc-ee's?
Yeah, like a comp in the Buc-ee's parking lot.
That'd be cool. All they'd have to do is just give you 2 or 3 gas station gas parts. You could do a whole comp right there. It's freaking huge.
It's big enough. I don't even think we'd have to invade the pumps.
No, they wouldn't even know you're there.
Right. We just like the back parking area.
Yeah. There you go.
75 team comp just in the back parking lot.
Right. That's funny. All right, man. Well, I guess, if we don't get enough complaints, then I'll see you next month.
Hey, I'll catch you on the next go around when you and I are paired up again.
They don't shut us down.
Right.
All right, man.
Hopefully Logan doesn't stroke out, but until next time, I guess stay right on cue, y'all.
There you go. Have a good one, guys. See ya.
See ya.
That's all, folks.